Hello, namaskar. My name is Pooja Dwivedi. Welcome to my class where we are going to find answers to the question: was the Gyanvapi mosque built on the ruins of the Hindu temple Kashi Vishwanath? This is a very straightforward question to which there is a very straightforward answer. But the history is pretty complex. The future seems complex too. Without any sort of delay, let's delve into the topic. But before that, I would also like to suggest that do not make notes because I provide the notes on my Telegram channel. That is by the name of Pooja Dwivedi UPSC. If you're interested in answer writing sessions, that also I conduct on this particular channel. Other than this, if you have any questions regarding UPSC, you can talk to me on my Instagram as well. Before I begin with the topic actually, I would like to inform you about the P2I batches that we are going to launch from 11th of August. And these batches will be morning batches. Everything is clubbed at one place. You do not have to worry about prelims test series, mains test series, answer writing practice. Everything is provided here. A mains residential program is also for those students who are going to qualify prelims 2024. You will be called to the StudyIQ campus for 4 months. You will prepare there rigorously for the mains examination. And after that, we have an arduous procedure for the interviews as well. Do not worry about the lodging facilities. That is included in the fee that you are going to provide us. The fee is 70,000, but if you use the code PDLIVE, you will get it for 29,999 only. Now, let's start with the biggest news of the day, that the Allahabad High Court has rejected the petition of the Gyanvapi Mosque Committee that challenged the Varanasi Court's order that a scientific investigation survey should be conducted in the premises because it is in the interest of justice. Now, the Archaeological Survey of India can freely conduct the investigation, the scientific survey, not the investigation, but the scientific survey. The Gyanvapi Mosque is built adjacent to the Kashi Vishwanath temple. It was done so on the orders of the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb. And the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb demolished a Hindu temple, and on the ruins of it, we find the Gyanvapi Mosque. There are two mosques actually that are built on the ruins of the Hindu temple, the Kashi Vishwanath, and one is by Razia Sultana. The more famous one is the Gyanvapi one. Gyanvapi Mosque gets its name due to the presence of a well or the Gyanvapi, and hence it is known as the Gyanvapi Mosque. Now, Aurangzeb said that I want to legitimize my rule by iconoclasm. Iconoclasm, what is it? Let me write it here. Iconoclasm. That means if you are destroying any iconic thing related to any culture, any religion, if you're attacking it, that is iconoclasm. And by this, not only Islamic rulers, but many other rulers have also tried to establish their legitimacy, a kind of warning to others that here, if you want to live under my reign, this is how you should live. Your culture, your religion is lesser or inferior than my religion or my culture. This is iconoclasm. So, this was a common practice. And Aurangzeb is very well known for this particular practice. While on the other hand, we know Akbar the Great was the great because of his respect for other religions. So, this is how any ruler should be. But Aurangzeb chose otherwise. We all know about his policies against the Hindus. It's not at all a secret. But when it comes to the current structure of the Kashi Vishwanath, it was rebuilt by Maharani Ahilyabai Holkar, a very important ruler. Moving on. The thing is that we have to know about the origin of everything. Many people say that no, there was no sort of temple over here. But what if we can show them the text that is related to it? As in the Kashi Khand of the Skanda Puran, which dates back to 5th to 13th century. This Puranic text has told us about a well of wisdom which is known by the name of Gyanvapi. Here it is mentioned that Ishan, who is a form of Lord Shiva himself, because of the absence of water, had to dig out a well, and that was to cool the lingam. Back then, the Ganga wasn't present on the earth. And it is also said that back then water wasn't found. That is why a well had to be dug. And then we found the Gyanvapi, the well of wisdom. and the water that burst out from the well is said to be the liquid form of knowledge or gyan. We can call it wisdom here better. It is also known as Shivatirtha, Jnanodatirtha, Tarakatirtha and Mokshatirtha. In order to eulogize the Gyanvapi and its power to drive away evil spirits and also cleanse the sins of the worshippers. So, what happens? That Kashi Vishwanath temple gains importance after that. As in the fall and restructuring of Kashi Vishwanath temple has not been done once. If we talk about it, then in 1236 CE, as records go back, here it was suggested that the Kashi Vishwanath temple was itself built on the ruins of another temple, and that was done by a Gujarati merchant, and this temple was the Avimukteswara temple. After that, it was partially destroyed during the rule of the Sharki kings of Jaunpur. In 1419, it was completely destroyed by Sikandar Lodi. But after a lot many years, in 1583, around 1583, it was rebuilt by the great scholar and writer Narayan Bhatt with the support of Raja Todarmal, and it was patronized by the King Man Singh of Jaipur. So how we see that iconoclasm was actually a part of our history, and it was done in the medieval times generally by the Islamic rulers. In other cultures, if we talk about the southern rulers, they also, whenever they had to show their legitimacy, they carried away the idols of a temple which is under the reign of some other king, so that they can show their victory. This is also a part of iconoclasm. This is also seen. And this actually used to show that temples back then was related to rajas, kings and maharajas. So what happens that whenever you are going to desecrate any temple, that shows that it is a symbolic way of showing that yes, you do not matter to me anymore. I am the more victorious one, and your temples which are affiliated to you, if you cannot save that, what will you do to your people? So this is a kind of message that is being sent, and you can see this was all a part of that only. Now in 1669, as I told you, Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb, he demolished this temple, and in its place came up the Gyanvapi mosque. The minarets were built as high as 71 meters, and he did not ruin the entire or demolish the entire temple. Why? Because he wanted to send a warning to the Hindu population over there that if you have to live, you have to live under my reign. This is not what I am saying. This is in a book written by a very important author. Another thing is that the Razia Sultana mosque was also built here. And as you can see, the Nandi beside me, this is the Nandi of the Gyanvapi near the Gyanvapi mosque only. Now, during the early mid to 18th century, there were attempts to re-establish the Kashi Vishwanath temple by Kachhawas and Maratha chiefs, but attempts failed because of Mughals' oppression and suppression. This is the basic structure that you can see beside me of the Kashi Vishwanath temple. This is the well that we talk about, the Gyanvapi well. And this is the 17th century plan of the Kashi Vishwanath temple. See, let's now delve deeper into the litigation history. On April 8, 2021, a lower court issued an order that the Archaeological Survey of India should conduct a detailed survey of the entire premises that existed at the Alamgir Mosque site and its environs in the Gyanvapi neighborhood. Another very big question came up when people said, the Hindu side said, that we have discovered a shivling inside the premises of the mosque. But the Muslim side says that no, it is a fountain or a waju. Okay, so this was the entire scenario. The finding of the shivling inside the mosque actually created a lot of buzz, and this has created an issue which has to be resolved, because we need to delve deeper just to know the truth. Now, the thing is that as you can see beside me, as it stands, the mosque is over here. This is the well, the wazoo or the shivling that we were talking about. I have to call it both. Why? Because we do not have the proper evidence of either. So we are calling it both. Okay? Because I am here to teach bureaucrats. I am not here to tell you about the political stance. So you have to look at this particular class from that perspective only. Now, As you can see, this is what we are talking about. This picture is coinciding with this picture. And here is the Nandi. The pond is in the front of the face of Nandi. This is the Vazu pond that we were talking about, where Shivlinga is claimed to be found. And many people say that this is the actual Shivling. Also, here is the ruins of Western Wall, which was videographed. Here the survey was videographed. What is this? This is the Shringar Gauri temple. As you can see over here, this is the Shringar Gauri temple over here. This is the Vazu area. This is the alleged Shivlinga or the fountain. We do not know what it is right now because we do not have the proper evidence. I am saying it again and again. And then this is the Gyanvapi well. And because of this Gyanvapi well, this mosque has been known as the Gyanvapi mosque. And this is the Kashi Vishwanath temple. So, how can we just develop into our brains a proper fact is with the help of history only. And the Shringar Gauri temple is another very important facet in this entire thing, because the Hindu women, the 5 Hindu women, they have asked for the right to worship the Shringar Gauri Ma. And there are so many complex issues that are intertwined with each other. This makes this case very interesting. Interesting from the perspective of what as a bureaucrat you will do. Now, on July 21st, a Varanasi district court had suggested that please let's take up scientific survey of this region. And the ASI should do ground penetrating radar survey just below the 3 domes of the building in question and conduct excavation if required. That means if artifacts can be found, then what is better than that? Another question is whether the present structure has been constructed over a pre-existing Hindu temple. To prepare a list of all such artifacts which are found in the building, specifying their contents and carry out scientific investigation. Another thing is that undertaking the dating exercise, carbon dating exercise, in order to know about the age of that ruins or the temple. Because we do not know anything right now, right? Whatever information that is there is through the help of books and also certain things that have been found in the mosque itself. This is why this entire issue has to be looked at from a very neutral perspective. It could be either or. But we cannot ever underestimate the thing called survey over here, because that has been directed by the court itself in the interest of justice. Alright. So how did the district court take up this matter? July 21st, order of the Varanasi district court came in the civil suit which was filed by the Hindu women seeking the right of worship, providing worship to Ma Shringar Gauri. And survey would exclude the Vazu Khana, that alleged Shivling fountain that we saw. Also, survey proceedings to be videographed and the report to be submitted before August 4, 2023. This was the earlier one. After that, stay was put. Then High Court ordered something. On 16 May 2023, the Allahabad High Court ordered a scientific survey. Scientific survey should be done in the interest of the worshippers, because if they want to worship, why not? Including carbon dating of the Shivling that was claimed to have been found during the earlier videographic survey this year. When earlier the videographic survey was done, then only we could find many other things that were showing that yes, this was a Hindu temple once. So in order to give validation to that, more surveys could be done. Then the Supreme Court came into the picture. How? The Anjuman Intizamiya Masjid Committee. This is the committee that takes care of the Gyanvapi Mosque. It said that this is in complete violation of an act. This act is the Places of Worship Special Provision Act of 1991, in which there is a bar that has been put on the conversion of religious character of a place of worship from how it existed on August 15, 1947. That means if any place is a temple, a mosque, a church, a gurudwara, or any temple, anything, if it is of religious character and it stood as that as on 15th August 1947, now its character cannot be changed, because that will create a chain effect. In our country, the history is very complex. Many temples have been built on some other ruins, on the ruins of some other religious character. Many mosques have been similarly developed. So if we start this for one place, the chain reaction will take place and communal violence will take place. and it will also undermine the religious practices of other communities. But Section 5 of this particular act said that the Ram Janmabhoomi is not included in this particular act. Remember that, Section 5. But the complexity of the issue involved in the civil suit was transferred the case to the district judge. The Supreme Court said that this issue is very complex. I cannot handle it right now. Just go to the district judge. Then the senior advocate, Huzaifa Ahmadi, he was from the mosque, as in representing the committee who was taking care of the Gyanvapi mosque, contended that the process initiated by the Varanasi court violated the 1991 Act. But the Supreme Court said that no, it did not, because ascertainment of the religious character of a place is not barred by this particular act. You cannot, bar something that is just there to know the truth. The conversion of that character is barred, but not knowing the truth about it. Then, November 2022, the Supreme Court extended its interim direction, securing the area of Gyanvapi complex where the shivling was claimed to have been found, without impeding or restricting the right to worship of the minorities or the Muslims, after the district court ordered the ASI survey on July 21st this year. Then, July 24, there was a stay on the survey earlier that day, and a bench which was led by the Chief Justice of India said that before the stay expires, please go back to the Allahabad High Court for challenging the district judge's decision. Then, again Allahabad High Court comes into the picture. Then the mosque committee moved to the High Court on 25th July. And on 27th July, the HC reserved its order and extended the stay on ASI survey until Thursday. Now it has given a go-ahead. It can be freely done. See, the thing is that there is a club of petitions. Not one petition is there. Many petitions are there. And every petition has one commonality, challenging the character of that place. Was it a mosque from the very beginning, or was it built on the ruins of the Hindu temple? So, a suit filed by 5 Hindu women, they ask about, please let us worship Ma Shringar Gauri. The Hindu side says that the mosque was built on the site of a temple. Muslim side says that the mosque was built on Waqf premises, and the Places of Worship Act bars the changing of the character of the mosque. These two are the main, arguments put forward by the Muslim side. And the discovery of the shivling in May 2022, this actually made the issue more complex. From here only, every complexity started. So, the biggest question here is whether the Places of Worship Act bars the litigants on the Hindu side from approaching the court for their right to worship a deity situated within the mosque complex. Here the question is, if there is a deity present inside the mosque and any worshipper wants to worship it, what will they do? What will they do? Is there a bar by the Places of Worship Act that you cannot approach the Supreme Court or the High Court? This is the biggest question that has to be asked. Section 4 says that the religious character of a place, I have already told you about this, so I'll skip that. This is just one note-making point. But the Muslim side says that allowing the present suit to do the survey, it would alter the character of the mosque as it has existed for more than 600 years. Hindu petitioners say that until 1993, there was a provision that the prayers were offered inside the mosque complex to Hindu deities. Since 1993, what happened? That prayers were allowed on designated dates. And on the basis of this only, this particular suit is taking place. That before we were worshipping the lords which are present inside the mosque premises before 1993. And since 1993, there was an allowance on going to the mosque and worship the lords on the dedicated or designated days. So why not now? So this is all the issue. These are all the bunch of issues that are taking place. The act itself has been challenged, the Places of Worship Act, because it says that it bars judicial review. If somebody wants to approach the court with respect to any religious place to know the character of its place, of that place, judicial review cannot take place, which is the basic structure doctrine. Another thing is that on what basis the date was fixed, 15th August 1947. And it abridges the right to religion of Hindus, Jains, Buddhists and Sikhs. this is what the two challenges are. Other than this, I also conduct daily current affairs session. You can be a part of it. Other than this, you will also find Map Insight series very interesting. It will help you with the mapping section. I hope you understood this topic well from the perspective of neutrality and truth and not biasness. Thank you so much for watching.